Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Medium by Design. Recently, if you've been on my YouTube channel, you saw the message from Florence Henderson. It's very based in love, so if you're not feeling a lot of love today, you may want to go back and listen to Florence Henderson. Beautiful, beautiful message about the love that's always around us and how loving her life was and the people that she met. As a follow-up to that message, I woke up one day and I had this personal review of the moments of my life and being part of the gay community and things that I had to go through and learn about myself. And Robert Reed, Mr. Brady, for those of you that are old enough to remember the Brady Bunch, and the young ones, if you haven't watched that show, it's a cute show, but I know the content might not excite you, might not excite this current population. But for those of us that grew up with the Brady Bunch, it was a very cute show and had some nice little lessons, you know, similar to Mr. Rogers' TV show, lessons for children about how to behave and learn about ethics and how to treat each other and how to get back to love after you have a fight and all these cute things. And so Robert Reed was the dad on the show. And this is what he had to say, because I just found this so interesting. Well, this was a real treat hearing you call to me and sharing such details of your history. I know you relate to having to hide, and it wasn't an easy life in that respect. However, my life did make up for it in many other ways. I loved acting and met incredible loving people through the years and enjoyed making those connections. Aside from enjoying my work, I enjoyed the love I shared with all the wonderful women I met. Florence was one of those women. The reason Florence is so special to me is because of her unending compassion, devotion, caring, and complete lack of any judgments. When you shared in your video how she was just the way you watched her on TV, that is the truest thing to be said about her. She did not have two faces. If she was having a difficult time, which we all do, she might let you know, but would never let that diminish the way she interacted with you. It was astonishing how she could keep herself together and composed through almost any life experience. If you go back to the Florence Henderson message, I talk about how I met her. It's a really cute story, and the message is beautiful. So he's referring back to his relationship with her. When you speak of people bringing a bright light, I completely know what you are talking about. Florence was one of those people. If you have any sense at all, it is easy to see one of these lights as they stand out so clearly from others. You too are one of these lights. I know that isn't easy for you to hear because you believe it will boost your ego or have you start acting differently, and you would be correct to have caution with the way you receive that kind of compliment. However, you also need to know what you bring to the planet and people and not be shy or downplay that light. This is a good message for all of us, right? Whatever your light is, whatever you're here to bring, you need to know that, be comfortable with that, and love that part of you, right? It truly is the light that changes and uplifts many of the difficult life challenges people face. This is what is meant when they say someone lights up the room. Lighting up a room is very helpful when there are any darker human expressions lingering around. Most people will relate to this because it is the beginning of the innate ability to feel energy. It is also important. Let's take some time to talk about energy and how it interacts with the human body, mind, and spirit. Being aware of the subtleties of energy was never more important. You may wonder why I choose to talk about this when I can share stories about doing the Brady Bunch. And I did feel that way. I'm like, wow, he's going really deep and high-level information, right? And then he addresses this. I feel I have something deeper to share now that I did not have a chance to learn, understand, reflect on, and talk to anyone about. Now you give me that opportunity. The first thing we need to understand is that everything, everyone, and every place holds energy. This is why people feel things in rooms, in buildings, at ancient sites. It goes deeper than that because all of those energies are interacting with humans. This is so interesting. If we stay ignorant of this, we can find ourselves being manipulated emotionally and more than acting on those impressions which may or may not be for our best interest. Aren't we all learning about that now? When we feel energy, we want to make sure we're not reacting to that outside energy. We're trying to maintain our center and what is for our highest good, right? And let go of everything else. In today's world, with all the types of energy flying around, it is more important than ever to stay very connected to how you feel at any given moment. Your sensing and feeling can give you a lot of information about what you are exposed to and what changes you may need to make. Salvatore, you had a discussion the other day with your chiropractor about an experience he is currently having. You gave him the family history related to this sensing he is having, then expanded the understanding to the energies that come through his door and some things to handle, cleanse, and just be aware of throughout his day. This can help him open to his awareness more and take appropriate action to keep the energy in his space more in tune and supportive of him. You are absolutely correct that any energy that comes into your space must be of a certain caliber, or it is not invited or allowed. You do have some say in that. This is such a fascinating topic, and it caught my attention much more after I passed. You see, I was holding in energy that needed to be expressed my entire life. This is very important for the energy you repress in yourself and in this body. Listen to this. I play a role even in my own life in order to be able to produce a body of work, get paid, and be received in the world. The repression of that energy and lack of love for self is what affected my health as time passed. If you look back through the last 3 or 4 decades, you can see how that repression has been dealt with and that energy has been released. People must be able to express what is inside themselves. This explanation of energy is a little different than what I was previously explaining. However, it is still relevant because it has a direct effect on our personal well-being. So whether an energy is coming from outside of us or is something trying to come through us, we can be affected both beneficially and or detrimentally. You have come here to help people get sensitive to the subtle energies around and in them, as well as how to use their sensitivity to not only connect, but to receive information that may help them. As you know well, the information you receive from the many you connect, listen, and write from has opened your mind and perception to so much more, as well as had you let go of what no longer fits or serves you. This is absolutely true. These writings and whatever impressions I get and downloads are changing me from the inside out. My perceptions of life, my reactions to life, my emotional waves, my lower emotional waves, everything seems to be changing, and for the better. It seems everyone on the internet is talking about this in recent years. We did not have these discussions in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, even though we may say, oh, you've got bad vibes, man. I can share some more insights that you might find interesting. When I was moving up in the ranks, so to speak, there were always those that wanted something, quote, more from me. This was the beginning of my understanding that there were many of us that were interacting behind the scenes. You have to read between the lines on this part. This was the only way for many of us to stay in touch with our emotions and needs. Today's generation, even though some still go through this, would think this was absurd. Why would you live like that? In that repression and just, hiding behind the scenes and, as he says, interacting, quote, interacting with others in a hidden way. Today's goal is all about being yourself in whatever way that means to you. It is amazing the amount of people who want to change their gender. The most anyone would do in my day was cross-dress, and even that was mostly done in secret. Please don't mix my words. I'm not saying that everything should be exposed in public. People do take things too far and insist on jamming all what they value and feel important out in the public because of the ease of video distribution. A little more posh would be appreciated by many, I'm sure. I do understand this need, however. The other thing that must be understood is that there is an audience for every aspect of expression, and it is not everyone in the population. It is absurd and preposterous to believe that you should be heard and accepted by everyone. This would be good for all creators of video content. This will never be the case no matter how well you state your case. This is why we maneuver ourselves through society, connecting where the love is for us. The rest is irrelevant. Salvatore, you know this too well. Living as a gay man and as a psychic medium has thrown you two curveballs to maneuver through life. What you have the privilege now to experience is how much more open many people are on both counts. This is true. I'm 60 years old, and I can tell you through the decades, people have become more tolerant, accepting, and loving, and realize that what you or I may be living has nothing to do with their personal life experience. Everybody's free to experience the life they're supposed to experience. That is why a soul comes to Earth, to have its unique individual experience. So based on those two avenues I had to express, this is the joy you will get to experience for the rest of your life. This is the greatest sign of the times. Then Florence Henderson came back. This was kind of a curveball. So she comes back and she says, "So well said, Robert. Hello, Salvatore, and thank you for welcoming me back. I would love to share more and tell you how much I appreciate you sharing my message on video." Again, a couple of videos back is Florence Henderson. "I know you wanted to reach more people in my circle, family, and such that would really appreciate and be amazed by what you received. That day will come." I did want to reach out to her family about that message and people that knew her. But you guys might not know this, but to get in touch with a famous person or their inner circle, their family, is very, very difficult. I've tried to reach out to Oprah. I've tried to reach out to the co-star of the Fast and Furious movies. I can't remember his name now. Vin Diesel, because I have the Paul Walker message on here on YouTube. I've tried to reach out to people and it just never pans out. So even the famous people, they can't have a connection to my inner circle unless they watch my YouTube channel, and I'm not interested in trying to get into their circle anymore. It's too much work. People don't want to be accessible. I can't do anything about that. And that it was an issue I had because I really did want some of these more famous people messages to reach their best friends in their circle. I really did want that. I'm not getting any money for this, so you can't say I'm out for the money. I don't get paid to do these videos, so or to write these messages, for that matter. So, but I love to do it. That's my commitment. And here's a funny side. In one of the groups, I have this beautiful new woman show up, and she said to everybody in the group one night, she said, "You can tell he really loves his work. Look at him. because when I'm doing the work, my aura gets really bright and I start animating, I get excited because it is amazing. It's amazing to listen to these things. It's amazing to receive this. So she continues, for now, just continue doing what you do, enjoying and sharing with those who can receive and understand you have a gift. I knew that when we first met, I wanted to share time with you. I enjoyed our talks much like I enjoyed time with Jessie. Again, you can hear the backstory of how I met her and the exchanges that we had through that period of my life. I want to reflect that you have done your best to share any way and anywhere you can, but as Robert explained, you can't expect everyone to love and accept nor understand what you bring. See, that's a universal message for all of us. Everyone will have their audience, whether it's your family, your friends, your work environment, wherever you're expressing your light and trying your best to be authentic. But you'll find that sometimes your authenticity, which you're seeing me, this is my authenticity, is not received by some people. And that's the prodding that will help you move on. You don't have to keep pushing your light to an audience that doesn't want to receive it. That's why we have the freedom to do these videos and put them on the internet. That is a God-given freedom to express, to reach the people your soul is trying to reach. So it's just the way the mechanics of the light works. It's trying to reach the people that need to hear this particular message, right? I want to reflect that you have done your best. Okay, sorry, I said that already. However, you can expect to meet more and more people, reach larger audiences of those who do receive what you bring. They are all there for you to reach, and so you shall. So a lot of us that create content feel this way. We're making content, we don't know where it's going to go. We hope it reaches a target audience that can receive. Again, this is the mechanics of why we're doing what we're doing. I also want you to know and realize that you have touched many, just as your friend Paul shared last night. You are doing your work, no matter how much you receive or don't receive in return. I know that is not what you want to hear, but I can add it is all continuing to get better. You are becoming more, expanding more, whether you can see the results or not. The more word is very pertinent to Florence Henderson. She talks about that in her message. That's our soul's evolution about being more. Very interesting. And I really suggest if you got to this message and got through this to the end, go back and watch the Florence Henderson, because there is kind of a little bit of a leap, a linear line connecting the two. With that, I appreciate you watching. I hope this touched you in some way and that you received something interesting or fun or just enlightening. Please share the videos. Please continue to look at other videos on my YouTube channel. Again, as I said in the previous video, I do this work, and without you viewing, what's the purpose? It's about touching other people. We're all here to touch whoever we're meant to touch. So by you liking and sharing, subscribing, donating, contacting me for further information, for further connection with me, these are all important things in my world to keep expanding and becoming more of what I'm supposed to be and do while I'm still alive. And since I had my near-death experience last year, I do kind of understand there is more purpose for me. So I'm trying to do the best, step it up a notch and love this work even more than I did before, which I always did. I always loved what I was doing. So with that, thanks for tuning in. There is more to come on The Medium by Design, and I send you much love and blessings in 2024.